The Middle East is once again, unfortunately, at the center of global attention. It's a region steeped in history, but also one constantly facing new challenges. This time, it's as Israel and Iran move from shadowy hostilities, a long-standing Cold War fought in the shadows, to open confrontation. A shift that has the world on edge. For years, their conflict was fought through proxies and covert operations, a strategy of indirect engagement, rarely making headlines. These skirmishes, though impactful, remained largely out of the public eye. But recent direct military exchanges, a departure from the norm, have shattered that uneasy status quo, pushing the region into uncharted territory. This escalation is raising the stakes for the entire region, and indeed the world. The potential consequences are far-reaching. What happens between Jerusalem and Tehran, the decisions made in these capitals, now has global implications, affecting countries and communities far beyond the Middle East. This ranges from energy markets to international alliances, impacting economies and diplomatic relations worldwide. The escalation began with a suspected Israeli strike, an event that served as a major catalyst on an Iranian consulate in Damascus, a move that significantly raised tensions. This was followed by Iran launching hundreds of drones and missiles at Israel, a direct response that marked a significant turning point. This unprecedented tit-for-tat, a dangerous exchange of fire, marks a dangerous new chapter, one filled with uncertainty and risk. This forces us to ask, how did we get here, and perhaps more importantly, what's at stake for the region and the world? Understanding the motivations and strategies behind these actions is crucial, now more than ever, as a single misstep could trigger a much wider conflict, with potentially devastating consequences. In this video, we'll break down the history, providing context to the current situation, the recent attacks, examining the details of each event, and how Iran is adapting its defenses, showcasing the evolving nature of military technology in the region. The stakes have never been higher, and understanding this complex situation is paramount. To truly understand the depths of today's crisis, a crisis that threatens to engulf the entire region, we need to rewind the clock and delve into the historical context that has shaped this conflict. We must go back in time. Before the seismic shifts of 1979, Iran and Israel maintained a relationship, albeit one marked by underlying tensions and strategic calculations. They were uneasy partners, bound by shared interests and a common adversary in the region. The Iranian Revolution, however, irrevocably changed the dynamics of the Middle East, fundamentally altering Iran's foreign policy and transforming it into Israel's most vocal and fiercest regional opponent. Iran's new regime, under the Ayatollah Khomeini, adopted a staunchly anti-Israel ideology, viewing the Jewish state as an illegitimate entity and a symbol of Western imperialism. This ideological shift translated into tangible support for groups like Hezbollah, a powerful Lebanese Shia militia, aimed at encircling and exerting pressure on Israel from its northern border. Israel, in turn, perceived Iran's growing regional influence and its pursuit of nuclear capabilities as existential threats to its security and survival. Consequently, Israel responded with a combination of covert operations aimed at disrupting Iran's nuclear program and frequent airstrikes, particularly within Syria. The protracted and devastating Syrian civil war provided Iran with an unprecedented opportunity to establish a significant military foothold near Israel's borders, prompting Israel to launch hundreds of preemptive strikes designed to prevent further Iranian entrenchment and the transfer of advanced weaponry. This created a tense equilibrium, a delicate balance of power characterized by proxy warfare, covert actions conducted in the shadows, and the establishment of red lines that both sides for the most part hesitated to cross, fearing all-out war. Iran, despite absorbing numerous Israeli strikes, rarely retaliated directly against Israel itself, choosing instead to respond through its proxies, while Israel, for its part, largely kept its operations shrouded in secrecy, avoiding public acknowledgement of its actions. But this balance was always inherently fragile, a precarious state of affairs, built on deep-seated mistrust, mutual animosity, and the ever-present risk of miscalculation and escalation. It was therefore only a matter of time before a single pivotal event shattered the fragile status quo and plunged the region into a new crisis. That moment, fraught with danger and uncertainty, has now arrived, threatening to destabilize the entire Middle East. The turning point, a moment that would redefine the region's dynamics, came on April 1, 2024. It was a day that etched itself into the annals of Middle Eastern history, marking a clear departure from the established norms. An airstrike, a calculated act of aggression, obliterated a building adjacent to Iran's embassy in Damascus, sending shockwaves throughout the international community. The strike resulted in the deaths of several senior Iranian commanders, individuals of significant strategic importance within the Iranian military apparatus. Iran swiftly and unequivocally blamed Israel for the attack, holding them accountable for the devastating loss of life and the brazen violation of international law. The world took notice, as the incident sparked widespread condemnation and ignited a flurry of diplomatic activity aimed at de-escalating the rapidly escalating tensions. This wasn't just another covert hit, a clandestine operation hidden from public view. It was a direct challenge, a bold and unambiguous act of defiance that shattered the existing paradigm of indirect conflict. The attack deliberately targeted a diplomatic site, a location typically considered inviolable under international conventions. This calculated move was aimed at forcing Iran's hand, compelling them to respond in a manner that would reveal their strategic intentions. Israel's likely goal to disrupt Iran's regional operations, to dismantle their network of influence and undermine their ability to project power across the Middle East. The strike also served to send a message, a clear signal that no one, regardless of their position or status, is untouchable. Iran responded on April 13th, unleashing an unprecedented barrage of aerial weaponry, a display of force designed to overwhelm Israeli defenses. The assault involved over 300 drones and missiles, a coordinated swarm intended to saturate and penetrate Israel's air defenses. These projectiles were launched directly at Israel, marking a significant escalation in the ongoing conflict. For the first time, Iran struck from its own soil, a move that shattered the long-held taboo against direct attacks between the two nations. This unprecedented action was aimed at restoring deterrence, re-establishing a sense of equilibrium in the face of perceived Israeli aggression. It also served to showcase its reach, demonstrating Iran's ability to strike targets deep within Israeli territory. But Iran also signaled its intentions, providing Israel and its allies with advance warning, allowing them valuable time to prepare their defenses and minimize the impact of the attack. Consequently, most projectiles were intercepted, thanks to a coalition of Israeli, US, and regional defenses, working in concert to neutralize the incoming threat. Israel's limited retaliatory strike near Isfahan days later showed it could hit deep inside Iran, demonstrating their own capacity for long-range precision strikes. But the limited nature of the response also hinted at a desire to avoid all-out war, suggesting a calculated effort to de-escalate the situation. This exchange marked a new, more dangerous phase, a direct state-on-state confrontation, a departure from the proxy conflicts that had previously defined the relationship between Iran and Israel. The rules of engagement have changed, ushering in an era of heightened risk and uncertainty. Both sides have demonstrated their capabilities, showcasing their military prowess and technological advancements, and their willingness to escalate, signaling a readiness to engage in further military action if necessary. The risk of miscalculation is now higher than ever, as the potential for unintended consequences looms large. The shadow war is no longer in the shadows, the covert conflict has been exposed, bringing the simmering tensions into the full glare of the international spotlight. Iran knows it simply cannot match Israel's superior military might head-on in a conventional war. Instead, it strategically relies on asymmetric warfare. This involves using missiles, drones, and its network of regional proxies to effectively offset Israel's technological edge. Iran's missile arsenal is vast and diverse, designed to overwhelm sophisticated air defenses and deter potential attacks. The April 2024 assault served as a real-world test, showcasing Iran's ability to coordinate complex, large-scale strikes. Iran's axis of resistance includes Hezbollah, Iraqi and Syrian militias, and the Houthis, which keeps Israel defending on multiple fronts, stretching its defenses thin. Iran also hardens key strategic sites, burying critical nuclear and military facilities deep underground. Cyber warfare adds yet another layer of complexity, targeting Israel's critical infrastructure and intelligence operations. Together, these diverse tactics form Iran's multi-layered shield, a comprehensive strategy designed to deter, retaliate, and ultimately survive. The 2024 exchanges have forced Iran to rethink its military doctrine. For years, Iran relied on proxies and patience. Now it's shown a willingness to strike Israel directly. This shift means Iran is investing more in air defense, missile technology, and drone swarms to penetrate Israeli defenses. The threshold for direct retaliation is lower. Attacks on Iranian interests may now trigger state-on-state responses. This new doctrine is risky. It makes escalation more likely and less predictable. The experience has also reinforced Iran's commitment to its nuclear program, seen by hardliners as the ultimate deterrent. If Iran accelerates its nuclear activities, tensions with Israel and the West will only grow. The region is entering uncharted territory. The stakes are higher than ever. The Iran-Israel conflict sends shockwaves across the Middle East. Gulf states like Saudi Arabia and the UAE are caught in the crossfire, hosting U.S. bases, seeking stability, and wary of escalation. Jordan and Iraq are on the front lines. During Iran's April attack, their airspace became a battleground. Jordan's interception of Iranian missiles drew praise from the West, and ire from Tehran, highlighting the region's precarious balance. Iraq, home to U.S. troops and Iran-backed militias, risks being pulled into direct conflict. The crisis also complicates the Israeli-Palestinian issue, as Iran frames its actions as support for Palestinians, resonating with some in the Arab world. The risk of a broader war is real, one that could disrupt oil supplies, trigger refugee crises, and draw in global powers. Every nation in the region is reassessing its alliances and defenses. The entire Middle East is on edge. What's next for Iran and Israel? Some analysts believe both sides will step back, returning to covert operations and proxy battles, now with a greater risk of escalation. Others warn that the threshold for direct conflict is lower than ever, making future tit-for-tat strikes more likely. Any new Israeli attack on Iranian assets could trigger a powerful response, fueling a dangerous cycle. Iran's nuclear program is a key flashpoint. If Tehran accelerates enrichment, Israel and the US may consider military action. The old rules are gone, the conflict is more unpredictable than ever. The world is watching, hoping for restraint, but preparing for the worst. Both nations are recalibrating their strategies, and the US will play a crucial role in managing tensions. The shadow war continues, but the risk of open conflict is now a constant threat. The future of the Middle East hangs in the balance.